Throughout my career, especially at SERE school, I've done a lot of tracking. I was fortunate enough to go to TrackAware, Military Tracker 1 and 2, and be taught by some world-class trackers that really specialize in search and rescue, right? And then there's an military application to it. So what I want to talk to you guys about this day is not the military application. There's a lot more into what we're going into. And, if it piques your interest, then by all means, let us know. But we're going to talk about just basic tracking today. Hey, this video is brought to you by CCW Safe. If you're going to carry, it's probably smart to have some legal protection in the event you ever have to defend yourself or your loved ones. They will do an independent investigation at the scene. They will help you out financially. They will go to bat for you. So if you carry, like I said, give them a check down in the description below. It may be the best thing you've done today. All right, moving on with tracking, guys, right? So the first thing we're going to talk about is laying track and setting up a tracking stick, right? Really tracking at the end of the day, we're looking for even the slightest things out of place, right? Things that have been just even a little bit manipulated. And if I just look at everything on the ground, well, right now, I can follow this track. Sure, it's down the middle of a road, right? But if you're tracking, in my case, I deer hunt a lot, and I deer hunt in the South. And so using my arrow as a tracking stick also has helped me recover a lot of deer and pick up blood trails. In this case here, we laid a track, so you can see some clearly defined foot tracks, right? There's a lot that goes into the type of track. What type of media is it in? Is the guy weighted with something on his back? Is he running? Is he being pursued? Is he, there's a lot that goes into it. So when you get a good track like this, first thing I want to do is I also want to take a sketch of the track. I want to take a picture of it with my phone, and I want to sketch so later on when we're in a bunch of different tracks, I have really good identification of this one specific guy I'm tracking. If I find an anomaly in his track somewhere, I make note of that. So again, now that I've laid it out, I got my stick. I prefer rubber bands, right, for moving my stick around. You can use tape if you have tape, but bottom line, what I'm going to do is the very first thing I have 4 really good tracks here, right? I'm going to measure the length of his first foot. So the tip of my stick goes to the tip of the toe, and at the heel, I'm going to move my first retainer band. So that's the length of one of his feet, right? Now I got this second stick. I'm going to check our second track. Yep, that still works. And now I'm going to go from that toe, I'm going to move this retainer band or this rubber band to the top of his second track. So here what I have essentially is 1 foot, the space he's walking to 1 foot when I hold it out like this. So when I'm looking for the next piece of disturbed earth, and it may be something really hard to see. You may not see any of it. It might be like this. I can come here to the tip of this toe. I know as I look now, I'm refining my focus. Instead of seeing all of this dirt, now I'm very specifically looking towards the end of my stick. I'm looking for those micro changes to the environment. So I just start to sweep across. I know he's going this general direction. So I'm sweeping across, looking in a really refined spot. And right here now, what I see, because I've erased the track, right? But what I see is this raised edge right here. So this earth was pushed up and out. So I'm pretty confident, based on the information I already have from the track laid, I'm on a track again. So I can measure out to my next piece, and I can start looking up here for the next one. And I keep doing step by step by step like that. It's painstaking this way, right? There's ways to speed it up. But that's the general way to set up your tracking stick. Like I said, I've hunted for years and years and years, decades I've hunted. I'm a very avid bow hunter and shot a lot of deer in, they leave small tracks. And when you're having a hard time finding a blood trail, I have found that the length of my arrows from my fletching to the tip of my arrows for me, where I hunt in the Southeast, is a good indicator. It's helped me recover multiple deer. Now, there's a lot of the we're just touching on. We're not giving a complete tracking class, right? But learning how to age tracks and learning how to identify tracks based on media, we use these things called a spore pit. And what a spore pit would be at SERE school when I worked there, we actually had different types of media. So we had fine dirt, we had pine straw, we had rough soil, whatever. And then we would lay track in it. We would mark the conditions. Hey, what were the conditions when the track was made? A really good track. And we make notes on it. And then throughout the course or throughout the weeks or through whatever, we keep evaluating. When are the edges on this clay starting to fall down? When are the edges on this softer media starting to wither? What happened last night when the dew came out and then the dew went away? What did it do to my track today? So it's not a complete science. It's more of an art. But you can start to really learn how to age tracks by doing it that way. And it's a fun thing to do at home with kids too. Mark your track and then teach them the effects of the environment and what it does to it. So speaking of effects of environments, a couple of things we're really looking for, some big ones, is flagging. That's grass grows like this and trees grow like that, right? So when you break brush and you go through it, you'll see that material is laid over in the direction it went. And depending on what type of grass they're going through, some of that is so easy to follow. Helen Keller could follow that track. All right, so for the video, we've already laid out some of these examples. So come with me over here. I'll show you some flagging. All right, guys, so we laid this track earlier just so you can see it, and it's a small example, right? But here's an example of something coming up up this trail. Up this road, and just a natural, wants to go down this road over here, and they just, instead of walking all around the corner, they got lazy, and they walked right through here, and you can see how this grass is laid over, where they just cut that corner off, right? But you'll see this in fields, you'll see this creek crossing, or not creek crossings, you'll see this road crossings and stuff like that. Anywhere where you got high vegetation, it's easy place to see flagging, and it's really easy to pick up. So that's flagging, guys. Come over here. We've got transference, wilting. We got a little flagging. We've got depression. We got some of that set up over here in one location so we can show you all at once. All right, guys. So here we have set up. It's all in one. And I know it looks hokey because we've laid the tracks on purpose because I want you to see what they're looking at, right? Not just random stuff in the woods. So here's the track that came through. I can still see my tracking stick works step for step. But when I do that also, I notice other indicators. See how these rocks are sitting on top? Because this is really soft media. But that rock has been depressed in, right? So clearly I'm on the right track. That's the toe box that's pushing that rock in. As his foot came up, you see the dirt here on these leaves? That's transference. Obviously dirt doesn't grow there like that, right? Now wind and stuff like that can pick it up and blow dirt on leaves, but you're not gonna find those big pieces like that. So, and everything supports it. Again, I have flagging. That plant is pushed over in the direction that foot is walking. And when it does that, it also gives me wilting. Now, wilting is pretty good because depending on the plant, depending on the conditions, you can help identify the age of the track. Some plants are going to wilt faster than others. That grass is not going to wilt as fast as that plant, right? So it's a good indicator for timing. But again, it's one of those things you just have to play with it and you have to take notes on it to really learn the art of tracking. Hey, and this is just an introduction to tracking, guys. Kind of again, how I set a tracking stick up and things that I'm looking for. You can see, honestly, if you were in the woods and you're tracking somebody step for step for step, really slow, really tedious, and you're never really going to catch him. He's going to outrun you because you're just going slow, right? So there are things you can do to speed it up. It's called cutting for sign. So if I have a pretty good idea, just based on the terrain and based on the track he's already laid, he's heading in this direction. And let's just say 700 meters down the road, I know there's a catching feature. There's either a dirt road or a linear road, or there's maybe even a creek, something like that. Some linear feature he's going to have to deal with. I get in a team ahead of me. So we can mark it on a map. They can go down there and they can start cutting for sign where they're walking up and down. And again, they're looking for flagging. They're looking for transference. They're looking for telltale signs that the guy they're looking for has come through there. The moment they pick that track up, I can drop everything out here and I can go. And we can just keep leapfrogging that way. Makes it much, much quicker to get on top of them. At night, and this is obviously all not in a tactical setting here, but at night, tracking with a flashlight is really, really good. But the trick to that is when you hold your flashlight, a lot of people want to have a headlamp on their head and look, or they want to hold their light up like this. The problem is with that, you don't create and cast enough shadow for your eyes to pick up. It'll all blend in. So when you use your flashlight, hold it down at the lowest level you possibly can to cast shadow. And it'll make those tracks just really pop out when you see them. So that shadow combined with your tracking stick at night, still very easy to do. From the military side of the house, like I said, I've been to the tracking courses, I've been to the tracking classes, and we've practiced anti-tracking techniques, wearing things like carpet-styled shoes or covers on your feet, sweeping your tracks across the road when you cross the road, different events like that when you're trying to evade and not be captured. And then from the tracker side of the house, I've been on that side too. I've been chasing guys down in SERE school and running them down. And again, you have to be cognizant about the security of your tracking team. You don't want some guy up there all by himself looking with a stick, not paying attention to what's out in front. So, there's always a security element to it where we'd push security, and then they got to be careful not to disturb track. And then also, employing canine. How do we employ canine? So there's a lot more to it. You can go deep into the weeds with it. If it's something you're really interested in, I tell you a good resource would be start looking at some of your local search and rescue area clubs and stuff like that. That's where you'll find some really good tracking information because, they're out there doing it all the time to save lives, especially, if you're in an area that has prolific hiking and stuff like that. So I hope you like this video. I hope you like this content. I know it's a little different than what we're normally doing, but, guys have asked for it. So we're giving you what you asked for. Please smash that like button, subscribe, share this video out, and by all means, comment. I'd like to hear what you guys do for tracking different things in different places. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.